To the invitations to be here today. It's an exceptional event. We're having the eminent Turkish historian, Akçam, world famous historian, been here and talking about extremely important documents and sources and the history which is becoming a sort of a breakthrough in genocide studies, and we believe that. As of now, we have not had any sort of counter arguments against all those proofs. I mean, the proofs are not needed only through the documents, but the proofs are what we are carrying. Each and every individual is carrying, Armenian is carrying on his or her skin and his or her memory. So when we're being confronted by denialism, it's irritating in many ways. But we cannot stop by that. We cannot be stopped by that, and we have to stand up against that. Now, why we are doing this? Why we are organizing this event? It's because it's since December 9th. December 9th was the date of the International Commemoration of Genocide Victims, the International Day for the Commemoration of the Genocide Victims, endorsed by the UN in 2015, when the centennial of the Armenian Genocide has been marked. But that anniversary, December 9th, is also the anniversary of the Genocide Convention adopted in 1948. This week is also, December 10th was the International Human Rights Day. So we thought that within this context, it's good to talk about genocide and genocide denial generally. And I'm very, of course, grateful to Professor Akçam that he has accepted Siobhan, Nash-Marshal professor, that they have accepted this invitation to talk about these topics. We'll be very happy to get any questions, including from our neighboring countries, because probably they're present here. And let's have a start. Of course, the presentations will follow Q&A, and of course you'll be open to address any and all questions to them. Thank you very much.
And because of how they organized the Armenian genocide, their main claim today has been also over the decades, that Ottoman government has never the intention to exterminate Armenians. And their main argument over the decades until today is following. You cannot show one single Ottoman document that makes clear that Ottoman government has genocidal intent. Yes, they say, there were casualties. Armenians perished throughout this process. They gave different numbers, 300,000, 600,000. Sometimes they give 50,000. Numbers changes. But this was not as an intentional policy of Ottoman government. There were Kurdish mountains. We could not control the Kurds there. Uncontrolled Turks or Kurds attacked the convoys. We tried to protect them, and we did our best to protect. Even we brought some of these Kurds or Turkish officials who mistreated Armenians in front of the court. We gave their punishment and so on and so forth. Casualties, yes, but it was not an intentional government policy. How, and they have enough reports and materials for this also. How they do this? They developed actually a model which makes us very clear. If you look, this model developed by an American professor, Michel Rolfe-Trudeau. He wrote an excellent book on the topic of silencing history. How states or nations silence their own past or destroy and deny their own past. He says in order to be able to do this, you need two different moments of operations. Number one, you have to create your own sources. So you create documents for it. Number two, you put all these documents that you created together, you make your own archive. Number third, based on this archive, the materials you have in your hand, you start telling this story. You start the national narration. This is how it happened in 1915. Because you have the individual documents and you have the archive, and based on this archival material, you start making the narrative. And at the end, the fourth moment, he says, this is the making the history. Final instance, this is the history of Turkey or history of Turks related to their own past. And I added another moment to explain Turkish denialism. This is the moment of destroying and or proving the falsity of critical documents. What are these? I will show you some examples. So Turkish government did all these 4 or 5 stages today. This is how they established their denialist policies. Number 1, they create and assemble their own facts and archive. If you go to the Turkish archive, you will find hundreds of documents that indeed show that there was a legal relocation operation. Government's order to each provinces, and the governor transmitted this order to the Gendarmerie commander. Gendarmerie commander summoned the Armenians, and they carried the Armenian population in convoys, and when it comes to the boundaries of the other province, they turn over this Armenian population to the other Gendarmerie, other province, with a signature documents and so on. These are all creation, their own documents, and some other documents that are also, I will show you. And second, of course, genocide is a big operation. You put the entire industry, state industry, in work in order to make this happen. And of course, there are materials that clearly shows the genocidal intention of Ottoman authorities. So what you do, you hide these kind of documents, or you destroy these kind of documents, so that there should be no evidence there to prove the genocidal intent of Ottoman authorities. I have 4 different archival material for you that we know today they are gone. We don't know about these materials. Number 1 is Teşkilat-ı Mahsusa, special organization. This was a paramilitary unit organized 1913 November, first used against Greek population on the Aegean coast to expel the Greeks to Greece. They took them to Greece, killed some of them, but this was a forcible deportation movement, and they sent them to Greece forcibly. And this Teşkilat-ı Mahsusa unit later was used to exterminate Armenians. I told you, there were deportation convoys, mostly in 1,000, 2,000 group, and when the deportation left the cities, there were certain spots, deportation settled there with resting areas, they called this, and in these resting areas, Teşkilat-ı Mahsusa units attacked and killed Armenian population. Mostly man population was exterminated, and women and children forced to further march towards Syria. Where are the materials related to this Teşkilat-ı Mahsusa special organization? Paramilitary unit, it's a legal organization. They established this within the defense ministry. Today, we don't have any single material related to this organization. You can compare this with German Einsatzgruppen or German SS, Nazi SS. You can have today hundreds of thousands of documents related to this organization. Second, the party. The name is Committee of Union and Progress. This is the party that organized the Armenian genocide. Where are the Central Committee's records of this party? It was established in 1889, and these telegrams were all in the court files. For example, only from Ankara province, we know from the other files, they put together more than 40 telegrams that related directly to killing operations. And There were eyewitness accounts. There were testimonies of high-ranking Ottoman bureaucrats, the generals, the governors. They testified. They were honest individuals. They said that yes, there were killing orders handed us, but I declined to obey this order, and they removed me from my office, and so on. Where are all these materials? Court cases, documents for 63 trials, maybe more than 10,000 documents. They are gone. We don't know them. Turkish government hides them either somewhere in the basement of I'm sorry, I have to go back. In the basement of any minister in Ankara. Where is my, yeah, here. So, we don't know where about all these documents until I discovered some of these materials, and I'm sorry, I mistakenly pressed you. Maybe it will come again. These materials belong to the military tribunal. I coincidentally discovered some of these materials. Maybe I'll do it from here, it's better. No, it's not working. Yeah, here, this way. I discovered coincidentally approximately 10% of these materials, and this is the process. The other thing they did, they denied the authenticity of some of the available documents that indicate genocidal intent of Ottoman authorities. What kind of documents these are? Of course, Ottoman government could not control all materials and documents. Some of them went out of hand. For example, an Armenian guy with the name Aram Andonion, 1918, Aram Andonion wrote approximately 52 telegrams from a guy with the name Naim Efendi. Naim Efendi was an Ottoman bureaucrat and was working in Aleppo deportation office. His job was getting order from Istanbul, and according to this order, sent the Armenians into Deir Zor, Rasulayn, and other deserts and places to be exterminated. And Aram Andonion published all these documents in 1921 as a book. And Turkish authorities said that all these documents are fake. They are produced by Armenians, and it is not trustworthy. So, based on all this, Turkish government until today denied authenticity of Armenian genocide. And here I will show you an example for each of these stages how they worked. I mentioned first to create your own material, your own document. Here is one document from Ottoman Archive. It is from 1916. Just a couple months after they killed these four individuals, Armenian, very well-known Armenian individual, maybe Armenian friends would know this is Manumian Agnuni actually. This is the Nash-Marshal party leader, and the other Daniel Barushan, the very famous Armenian intellectual. April 24, 1915, approximately 200 Armenians were arrested in Istanbul. This is the reason that we commemorate Armenian genocide, April 24. They were taken to Ankara, the capital city of Ankara, two small prisons close to Ankara, Çankırı and Ayaş prison. And over the summer months of 1915, these intellectuals were taken out of prison in 4 or 5 in group, and they were exterminated on their way. And these 4 individuals, they were exterminated near to town of Diyarbakır. You may have heard of it. This is what he did. According to these Ottoman documents from 1916, a couple months after, Ottoman government says these are deceived their guards and fled to Russia. This is an official document. And another very famous official document is, I like to show, is related to Krikor Zohra. You may have heard his name, the Armenian friends must know him. He was a leading Ottoman intellectual, man of pen, lawyer, and deputy. He was a leading, very brilliant intellectual and very close friend of Interior Minister Talat Pasha. And even on the day that he was arrested, he was playing backgammon, tableau, with Talat Pasha. And Krikor Zohrab was arrested beginning of July, and he was killed again, taken all the way to Diyarbakir. He was killed in Diyarbakir. This is what we believe. But here is a document for you. It is the doctor report. Doctor says, I already checked him in Urfa, in town first, and he had some cardiac problems. I gave him medicament, and he continued that I heard the news that he passed away. I went to the place and I checked the body. He passed away as a result of an heart. This is doctor report for you. And it's not enough. This is another report for you. Testimony of the Urfa Armenian Church priest, Father Hayek. 20th July, along with doctor, he was also taken to the place, and he says that he has been called to the scene, and he saw the body, and the doctor examined the body and determined that Zohrab had died of a heart attack, and how then Zohrab had been buried according to appropriate Armenian religious rituals, customs. This is another official letter from Talat Pasha. This is an order about Zohrab's death, going from Istanbul to Aleppo, and Talat says that also that Zohrab passed away as a result of an accident. And also government published a report about the findings in September 25, 1915, and government informed Zohrab's wife in Istanbul that her husband had died of an heart attack, and on July 21st, 1915, an official statement was published in daily newspapers. If you are a young historian and want to go and archive and work about the destiny of the Zohrab, you have 5 original documents from 1915, and you have non-original documents that proves that Zohrab was actually killed. We know how Zohrab was killed because the man, the member of Teşkilat-ı Mahsusa guy, Cherkez Ahmed, he was a babbler. He was a very talkative guy, and then he became a problem for the ruling party, and they killed him. And before he was killed, he told everybody that he smashed a stone Zohrab's head, so that Zohrab had almost no head when the body was found and buried. And this is the reason the Turkish government never used these materials. But as you see, they created the materials during the genocidal process was happening. This is the Ottoman way of Turkish government's way of denials. And mentioned another important thing they did, either destroy the documents or hide the documents, or they deny the authenticity. And the major Turkish argument is always today, show us the origin. When we say,
when it came to genocide denial, the word he always used was impunity. When a crime is perpetrated with impunity, says he, it will be repeated. And Hakan Daryan was of course right. The Armenian genocide was copied by the Nazis because it had been perpetrated with impunity. Namely, it had not been punished. And of course, in the absence of punishment, crime grows. I don't want to talk about these two things. I want to ask the big question. And the bigger question is, why is genocide denialism so dangerous? Not just for Armenians, or for those populations that could become victims. And we know well who they would be. They are the peoples who are numerically small. Right? So I look at the Baltic states, and of course I'm an American. We were joking in the car today when it comes to numbers and size and landmass. We're talking about different order to the United States and Europe. It's very, very different. But of course the Baltic states are caught between two powers. They have been invaded many times. This makes this population it's dangerous. The mechanism of genocide for populations small, that have small numbers. But there are deeper reasons why it is dangerous. Genocide denial is not just dangerous for Armenians. It is an existential threat for Armenians. It is not just dangerous for peoples of, I think Estonia has 1,500,000 people. Wonderful people, wonderful culture. Very few people. Between two powers. Very dangerous. Obviously, it's an existential threat for these countries. But I would claim that it is an existential threat for us all. Any human being. And here are the reasons why. A small reason. One of the things that has been clearer and clearer for me every day as we were speaking with Taine is, of course, that genocide and genocide negationism is the creation of a narrative. There is no question about this. We were talking here in the slides about the creation of facts, about the creation of non-con, about the creation of a story. This is the narrative. Realize and identify some of the causes of our concern, being ill at ease, because those same mechanisms are truly at work in different ways throughout the world. Let me show you one. When the Ottoman government, the Turkish government, perpetrates this account, let us just say that you are from Turkey, as Professor Akçam is. Let us just say that you're from Ardahan, as Professor Akçam is. You know full well in Ardahan that there were Armenians, that it was Armenian at some point. If you walk through the villages to the east, to western Armenia, right, or the eastern provinces, so what's called now eastern Anatolia, there are gaps, there are holes, it's poor. You can't not know that this happened. You speak to your parents, your grandparents, you know. But the official doctrine is a different one. This never happened. What happens to you as a person when you have alternative facts presented to you? One, your eyes say, holy potato, there were people here, and they are gone. And you see the holes in the ground where people are looking for the Armenian treasure that has been buried. And they're still looking for it. And then your textbooks say, no such thing as the Armenian genocide. And then your great-grandfather says to you, yes, they were killed and we found them there. You're going to go crazy. It's a lie. It makes you question your own capacity to deal with reality. So you have to live a double life. One is the official life, where the schools tell you how to say this, and the other is the family life. And the two do not meet. You can never be a coherent person. What does it do to Armenians? Well, I will tell you this. When you are lied to, you cannot trust. When you cannot trust, you cannot grow. You cannot grow. You cannot live.
This default setting, it goes all the way when you buy your computer first time. So the default setting of Turkish denialism is very simple. During First World War year, Armenian on the eastern provinces were collaborating with Russians, and some Armenian gangs and Chetas, the military forces, volunteer units, helping Russians and fighting Turkish army behind the scene. And in order to secure the military operation and in order to secure the territorial integrity of Ottoman Empire, Turkish government decided to remove Armenian population in Syria and settle there, not in Yemen. This is the official default setting. But after 2000, it started changing. Especially with the AKP government, Tayyip Erdogan's government, they took a very moderate position. You may heard about it. The Ahmet Davutoglu, who became foreign minister and prime minister, and he developed a theory of justice. And he said, we have to have a justice for everybody. And until recently, until 2016, the new genocidal policy was, yes, Armenians suffered. Armenians suffered a lot. But Turks suffered also. We all suffered. So we have to really be sorry for everybody who passed away during First World War. And Tayyip Erdogan was writing a letter every April 24 to the Armenian Patriarchate in Istanbul, expressed the sorrow of Turkish government. And it will be maybe the 4th year next April, Turkish government officially allowed Armenian Patriarchate to commemorate Armenian genocide as a religious ceremony only within the Patriarchate. This was because of the public awareness. You all may have heard the assassination of Hrant Dink, an Armenian journalist in Istanbul. He was assassinated in front of his house, and it had started already before Hrant's assassination, but after Hrant's assassination, the process has accelerated.
I'm speaking on the Estonian language because I will this one. My question is translate my mõistagi genotsiid on väga lai mõiste. Eriti kui sõjaväe, see on vastastikune toimub. Te olete väga humaanne, vähemalt nii paistab. Mida te arvate, miks siis tol ajal ei ole Istanbulis elavaid armeenlasi puudutatud? Isegi kui tol ajal oli välisminister Armeenia. See on number 1.
He was asking that.
Louder so that we can hear.
His question was that the genocide during the war is a very complicated issue in that sense that there are warring sides, so it's hard to draw the line. And he wanted to ask why Armenians in Istanbul were safer during the time, and even the minister, foreign minister in the government was Armenian back then. How that was possible?
Not only in Smyrna also.
Teine küsimus. Kui te olete humaanne inimene, mida te arvate armeenlaste poolt Aserbaidžaani territooriumil 20% on okupeeritud ja toime pandud Kožalõ tragöödia? Ma ei nimeta teadmist.
Another question is about how we should look at the fact that some of the Azerbaijani territory is occupied by Armenians and the crimes that happened there.
Yani Hocalı soykırma.
Can I take this?
Teşekkürler.
I think these questions are interesting, and I'm going to counter your question with a question. Can you translate for me?
Understand?
Thank you. Is it not easier to perpetrate a genocide during a war than it is the other way around? It seems to me that the Holocaust did not take place in times of peace. So the idea that the war made things more difficult for genocide, I think, is a dubious proposition. I would think that likely it's the other way around. You already have an army, you already have communication methods, you have the men who can round up people, you already have everyone in a state of war. Remember, when a nation is at war, in America during World War II, my parents tell me that we pulled down the blinds. We're from New York City. This was a national ordinance. We all had to do this. During wars, we live under special measures. The reason we did that in New York was because of the U-boats. And we did have U-boats. So I would think that the claim that the war makes the genocide claim more dubious actually is unfounded. Actually, it makes it much easier. And historically, genocides are perpetrated during wars. Look at Yugoslavia, just for your latest example. As for occupied territories, I would like something. I'd like to bring up this point. And it's a point that has to be discussed, and it's the points that Wilson made after World War I. And the point is this: what is the basis of territorial claims? And these are difficult issues. So if you look at Wilson's points about self-determination, which were, by the way, what was behind the drawing of all of the European borders after World War I. The principle there was that it was a natural right